without further ado, Willow. Give it up, give it up.
Hey everyone!
Hello, beautiful.
Oh my goodness, I'm so happy to be here.
Listen, I love that. I'm happy to be here as well. I
Yes.
have been a fan of yours. Honestly, I know most people came in with Whip My Hair, but I came in with 9. Like, I came in with the 3 EP and then Time Machine. Like, I love those records. I vividly remember falling in love with them. And so going from then, it's like you dropped album from 2019, 2022 every year. And then you took a little break and then came back with Empathogen. So talk about that journey for you as an artist.
Man, I think for a really long time, I think life is a journey of trying to find yourself. And when you're really connected to your craft and you really care and it's a part of your passion and the way that you express yourself, there's really no other way that it can be. Like, it's going to follow your ups, it's going to follow your downs. Like, your music should express the time and what you were going through. And so I feel like each one of my albums is kind of like a time capsule to just like where I was at that time. And I feel like when it's really true, that's how it should come across.
Absolutely. And so from coping mechanism to Empathogen, I remember on that project you said you felt more like anger, confusion. And so now, is it more like joyous and clarity? Like, describe the difference between the two.
During the recording of Coping Mechanism, I was going through intense emotional distress. I was going through intense heartbreak and intense anger. And I feel like me wanting to scream and me wanting to just like belt and have kind of this different sound that I didn't really have before was driven by emotion. And for Empathogen, I was just kind of sick and tired of like the woe is me attitude. Like, okay, what are we, like, sit down.
First, yes.
First.
That's important.
Let's just do that first. Let's sit down. Let's focus on how do we really do the work? Like, how do we really try to heal these wounds and not like go through the same cycles over and over again?
Yeah, because you fall into a pattern like that.
Of course. And I was seeing that pattern and I was like, yo, I can't do this anymore. So Empathogen was kind of my journey being like, okay, let's sit here and really try to figure out how we're going to stop reacting to these wounds in the same way we did in the past.
What did a day in the life of doing the work look like for you?
For Empathogen?
Yeah.
So actually before I started even recording the album, I kind of locked myself in my house for like 6 months and I was just studying. I was like intensely, being with my instrument, trying to expand my knowledge of music theory and really I also did a college course. I actually never told anybody this because I was kind of like that's like random information that nobody really needs to know. But I did like a college course on like intervallic structure and just harmony and everything, and it just opened my mind to a side of music that I never really dove into like that. And to do it really intensely for 6 months, I think just opened my mind up to a whole nother way of approaching creating music. And so I have really beautiful collaborators for this record. My really good friend Chris Griotti and my other amazing collaborator Eddie Benjamin. And we would just sit there, and because I'm a vocalist, like I really try hard with my instrument and I'm starting to play drums and like expanding my horizons on that. But when you're in a room with someone who, like, I can sing a melody and sing a rhythm and we're having a conversation on the instrument already. It's not like, oh, let's try to figure it out mentally and like put it on the thing. It's like, no, it's a constant conversation. And that's how I love to make music,
Kind of just flows from you.
Yes. And when you're working with such talented musicians, like, my voice is my strongest instrument, So expanding that and being able to have more elevated conversations, like harmonically, rhythmically, but all coming from my voice. Because I'm not the best drummer, I'm not the best guitar player, you know what I'm saying? We try, but my voice is really where all of the ideas come from.
I feel like would you say that your voice is your power?
Man, it's definitely an extension of like my essence, of my spirit. And it's a real gift to be able to feel like it means something, you know what I'm saying? Like, everyone here, like, it's because of you guys, because the people want to hear the music, they care at all. Like, I could just be making songs in my bedroom and putting it out on SoundCloud, and like that would be awesome,
Right.
because I did that for a long time. But when people feel moved by the music, when people gravitate towards it, that's just you couldn't ask for anything more, and the gratitude just pours.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and so when A Pathogen came out, like when you started seeing the responses to it, and then it topped the contemporary jazz album charts on Billboard, it's like, what was going through your mind at that time?
Yo, I shed a lot of tears, and I was kind of in shock, because for a long time I kind of felt like I'm not really catching the vibe that like I really want to catch. Like I'm trying, and I'm getting there, and I'm progressing, but like I feel like I could be doing better at my writing. I could be doing better at my production. I could be doing better connecting to people, not only with my honesty, but with the actual like composition of the song. And so I just kind of felt like I was like, I'm not getting it. And that's why I locked myself in my house for 6 months, and I was like, okay, let's really get down to the business and see what is possible, you know.
And so getting that synergy with Chris and Eddie and your other collaborators, what was that like? How did you meet them and then go from that to like all of this synergistic energy?
Man, you know, I kind of just, I live my life very honestly. Like wherever I go, sometimes I'm oversharing. Sometimes I'm like, what are your parents like? Just randomly, you know what I'm saying? Like I just love connecting with people. And some people find that like, oh, like, why are you trying to connect with me? Like, we should wait. You know, I don't know. People don't want to connect. It's a weird thing. I don't get the logic of it. But when people receive that energy from me and they open up, and it doesn't matter if we've only known each other for a few weeks, a year, whatever, once we start making music, that synergy, because of our honesty and our openness with one another. But there's very few people, you know what I'm saying? I don't really, before this moment in my life, I didn't really work with producers because we weren't connecting. I didn't feel like they saw me. I didn't feel like they understood what I was going for. And being a young black woman, or just being a woman in general in the music industry, working with mostly male producers, I feel like there are a lot of unhealthy, toxic patterns that take place. And so I was kind of like really scared for a long time. But you just have to learn how to advocate for yourself and trust yourself and know that you're talented and find the right people. You know?
Absolutely. It's funny that you mentioned that you were scared at one point because you seem so fearless and so confident. You walk through life. It's like, how do you balance that out between like just being like saying, F it, I'm gonna do it and see what happens, or just being like, I'm gonna retreat at this moment and then maybe try again later? Like, how do you find that balance?
Man, I think with art in general, the most important thing is to follow your heart. And there have been a lot of junctions in my career where I had to make choices about who do I really want to be? You know what I'm saying? Like, do I want to be this pop star who lets people write songs for her and just whatever? Or do I really want to put the pedal to the metal and see what I can do? Like, see what's actually inside of me. But I think we're all learning that, like in a general sense in life, like when to push, when to white knuckle it, when to just get through, and when to pull back and be like, you know what? Maybe this is not the time. I'm still learning that. I think that's a deep lesson for us all, not only musically.
Just in life in general.
Yeah, totally.
And so I remember you once said like you didn't know if you were ever going to be a real musician. So you feel like you finally answered that question, or whether or not you are?
When I was 12, or maybe I was 13, I think I might have been 12. I sat down and I was like, dang, I was like, can I really call myself a musician? Like, I can call myself a singer, you know what I'm saying? Like, I sing, you know, but can I really call myself a musician? And I remember the moment I was in my room and I was like looking up videos of like my favorite artists and just like trying to vibe out on something. And then I kind of hit a dark thought, and I was like, yo. And then that's when I started playing the guitar. That's when I started really, when I was 13, when I started really trying to work on my musicianship and not only like performing and singing, which that's beautiful. We love performing and singing, but it just hit me really hard in that moment. Like, no, I can't at this moment call myself a musician. Now, you know, I feel differently about that. You know what I'm saying? I feel differently about that. And it's because I just really put the hard work in to prove to myself. Because sometimes, like, in my life, I felt like, oh, like, see me. Like, I'm trying super hard to get people to see. Like, I'm working hard at this. Like, accept me. And that's never the way. That's never the way. And it's always about you proving to yourself that you have the capability
Yeah.
to adapt and to grow and to reach whatever goals that you have, regardless of what people think.
Absolutely.
You know.
And so you once mentioned that like your favorite artists are those who do what they want to do, but they also do it very well.
Yeah.
Who are some of those people?
Wow. There's an amazing band called the Dirty Projectors that I've been listening to a lot recently. Esperanza Spalding. I mean,
Yes.
let's give it up for
What else
Esperanza
has to be
Spalding.
said about that? Yes.
Let's just give it up for Esperanza. Hiatus Coyote, Napalm of Hiatus Coyote.
Yeah.
The list goes on.
Yeah.
We could sit here for an hour and talk about it. But yeah, I'm just so inspired by the people who study music of the past, study music and try to create like a different world. Like Les Claypool of Primus, the way that he like reimagined the bass, how it could sound. No one did that before Les. The crazy, like he's hitting, like not slapping, but like hitting the actual bass, make it like turning the, like it's insane the kind of sounds that he makes on the bass. And I think that those are the kinds of musicians that shape and reshape what music can be.
Absolutely.
You know?
So why was it so important to you to be so hands-on with Empathogen, with writing and producing? Because you did produce a large portion of your album.
Yeah. I'm not going to lie. My last album, Coping Mechanism, I was so proud of Coping Mechanism. Like, I was like, I've never sang like this before. Like, I've never done anything like this before. And performing it was such a beautiful experience. But I kind of felt like it still just didn't hit as like it still did. It was like almost there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it was so close, but it still just didn't quite hit like that. And I was like, damn, okay, that's okay. Cause we're gonna come back stronger next time.
Absolutely.
Cause I'm gonna study and I'm gonna figure out what I really have to offer.
Yeah.
I'm gonna figure out, I'm just gonna take myself to that edge and be like, where are we at?
Yeah.
What does it sound like? And that's what I did with Empathogen. You
And
know?
at which point in making Empathogen, whether it was in the production process and creating it, did you feel like, yes, this is it, I got it?
Man, I had a really good feeling about the album when I first started doing it, but when I first started recording it, but when I really felt like, oh my goodness, like there's something like spiritual happening, like I feel like it's hitting that spot, is the day that I recorded Ancient Girl.
Ooh.
And I had been doing all of these like really intense arrangements and getting all, you know, let's take the calculators out and whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like, let's figure this out. And that's a lot of fun. But I was just like at a random studio by myself, and Ancient Girl made itself known. And it just felt so intimate, and it felt so me, because I'm obsessed with prehistoric times. I'm obsessed with like indigenous cultures and the way that they just like express their gratitude for the earth in so many beautiful facets. And I don't know, I just felt like it was simple, but it kind of hit that place. It hit that place that I was like, like, you know, that's what you want to, that's where you're trying to find. If you can feel it in yourself when you're making it, then most likely other people will feel it too.
Absolutely.
But if you're kind of on the fence when you're making it, it's like,
Let's see what happens.
yeah, let's see. You know what I'm saying? If you can be like, oof, like, then I feel like that's what you want to follow.
So in making the songs, like, which came first? The melody, the lyrics, the concept? Like, how did you start even the process to make the album?
So my first session was with my homie Griotti, and I was playing him a bunch of stuff. Like I was playing him Chet Baker. I was playing him like voice memos that I had made. And this was like the first session I was like, yo, I'm going to show you all this, but at the end of it, I want you to know that I don't want it to sound like anything like this. And he's like, what? Why are you showing me this stuff if you don't want it to sound like this? But I'm like, no, just like seep in the energy. You know what I'm saying? Seep in the vibe.
Yeah.
And usually I love starting with percussion first, because I feel like the rhythmic syncopation in this album is really important. And that kind of drives the melody for me, is getting that like rhythmic pattern down first, and then on top of that, figuring out like, okay, what are the moments where we can like sing around the melody almost. Like, no, sing around the rhythm. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, I don't know. I feel like this is the first time that I've approached it like that. Because I'm usually like, okay, guitar chords.
Okay.
You know, like, oh, I'm in my room. I'm writing guitar chords. Here we go.
Like
but to start with drums,
yeah,
completely shifts your perspective of the song, and that's new for me. But I've been trying that out recently.
Do you feel like it makes you more like fluid in the studio, or like as an artist, or just like kind of just go with the flow, see what happens, and like let the music come to you or through you rather?
Yeah, I think that it's really about perspective. Like, if I'm gonna do what I've always done, and sit in my room and strum like guitar chords, like the possibilities of me finding something that I have never done before are kind of small.
Yeah.
But if I go on the drums, an instrument that I'm not really like familiar with, but you know, I can keep a rhythm. The possibilities of me catching something that is different and interesting is way higher. So I've just been thinking about it like that.
I love that. And so this is sort of like a reintroduction to Willow, right? A lot of people say that, like, this is like, okay, this new emergence, this renaissance of Willow, sort of.
Totally.
And it started off, you started the album with John Batiste on Home, right?
Yeah.
So
give it up for John.
Amazing.
Give it up for John.
So what was your decision behind, like, letting his voice kick off the album?
Man, I mean, as soon as I met John, like, his spirit is explosive. Like, it's just like a quasar of just like light. Like, it's insane. And I don't know, he was just so inspiring, and his joy was so inspiring. And I wanted that to be like a core theme of this album as well. Like, me like smiling on the cover. Like, I feel like today we kind of romanticize darkness and sadness, and like that's a really important part of the human experience. Like, we need to feel that, but sometimes I feel like we overdo it just a little bit. And I'm like, no, joy is cool as well. It's almost like joy is seen as like not being cool. And it's like, no, like that's beautiful. Like, smile, like show your, like, some people like almost afraid to like show their laughter. You know what I'm saying? And so John just was like the antithesis of like hiding your joy, and I was like, he needs to start this, because that's such a beautiful opening to what I want this album to mean, you know.
And it feels like that because it feels like it starts on such a high and also ends on such a high, big feelings, and like the piano comes in, and it's like the musicality is crazy.
Shout out Zach Tenorio on the piano.
Yes.
On Big Feelings.
Big clap. Because that was so impressive, so beautiful. And so discuss the musicality on that record, how you opened versus how you ended. But I feel like it came full circle, even though like the motions varied and like throughout the album, but still like ended on a high and started on a high.
Yeah, I feel like Home, it's a different kind of high. Like, Big Feelings is almost manic. Big Feelings is like, like there's so much, it's almost like an uncontrollable kind of feeling. Home feels like abundant love, like almost like maternal. Like, I wanted it to feel kind of tribal as well. And John in the beginning on the drums, like, as soon as, and that's what I'm talking about, like working with people who are connected to the moment and connected to the energy that you're giving them. I could be like, yeah, maternal, like I want it to feel maternal, tribal, and he's just on the drums, just like this. And I'm like, yeah, that's crazy. But the part, there's actually a part in Home where it slows down a little bit. And it was really interesting because I was like, okay, yeah, exactly like that. But then on the last bar, you're gonna do a 4 count, and it's gonna slow down to like 100 BPM. And he's like, wait, what? And I'm like, no, it's gonna, no, you'll find it, you'll catch it. And lo and behold, he caught it.
Of course,
you know what I'm saying? Because he's a professional and he knows what he's doing. But yeah, it's just, he's such a joy to work with, and his spirit is just beautiful. Yeah.
And I know you've learned a lot of skills over the years. And so is there a skill that you still haven't acquired that you want to?
The list is long. The list is very long.
Top 3.
Thank God. Top 3 things. Sweet picking. I wanna get better at sweet picking, and I wanna get better at like controlled yodeling. Like, I already yodel a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I already yodel a little bit. It's subtle. You'll hear it tonight. It's subtle, but like a controlled yodel. You know what I'm saying? I also was thinking, so this is 3.
Okay.
I want to get an Indian classical singing coach.
Huh.
Like learning like cultural kinds of singing, like Hungarian throat singing, like just like Native American, like I don't know. I just want to get into all that. So the laundry list, as I went beyond 3.
Yeah.
The laundry list is long of things that I want to learn. So let's see. I'm excited. We're going for it.
Absolutely. As
Yeah,
you should.
I'm excited.
And that's the beauty of who you are as an artist. Like, you're not afraid to like tap into the unknown and just try different things. And so it's like, I love that. And so also when it comes to collaborators, you praised Samara Joy recently.
Oh.
Love her.
Give it up for Samara Joy.
Love her.
Oh my goodness.
Like,
I could literally flip a table with the love that I have for Samara
listen.
Joy.
That manic happiness again.
Literally, I'm just like, nah. Yeah, I just love her so much. She really is the new. I really think she is like the new standard. Like when you think about, like, I went to her show in New York and it's just like classic. Like, she's my age, she's 24, but she's taking me to she's taking me back to the ancestors. You know what I'm saying? And that is the shit.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
It's like the same way you love history, you love studying that. I feel like you two just vibe off of each other. Like, get the collab going.
Man, I'm texting her all the time. She's probably so annoyed with me. I'm like, bro, I love you. I came to your show. We should go on tour. She's like, I love you. I'm touring. I'm like, yeah, but we should tour together. Nah, we're going to. It's going to happen.
Absolutely.
It's going to happen.
Absolutely. And you also have a friend and kind of mentor in Questlove.
Oh,
yeah.
Give it up for Questlove.
Yes.
Icon.
The way you love people and like give them their flowers is beautiful, because it doesn't happen enough, honestly.
Yo, being an artist, I realized one of the most important parts of being an artist for me is like studying and deeply loving other artists. Like, that's a huge part of it. Like, you can't be on like an egotistic mindset. Like, your heart has to be open. You know, you love the craft. Like, look around. Like, you know, there's so many beautiful things happening.
Because people feel that energy too. Like, especially like, perform live and stuff like that. So like, the energy is very, very important.
Totally.
And so with Quest, what does it mean to you to have that relationship and like being able to call on him when it's like, hey, I'm doing this, or like even when he just praising your album, like unwarranted, just like, hey, I just want to tell you how great and packaged it is. Like, what was that like?
Man, again, overwhelming. Very overwhelming. But like, I don't know. I really had to sit there and be like, you know, Willow, sometimes being humble isn't about like downplaying yourself. You know, like sometimes being humble is about knowing really knowing who you are. Nothing more, nothing less. You know what I'm saying? Nothing more, nothing less. And so there were moments where I was like, oh, I kind of felt like, oh, do I deserve this? Like, and then I was like, you know what? Like, don't push this away. You know what I'm saying? Like, open your heart. Don't think that you don't deserve this.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Just work harder to love the craft and be even a deeper musician every day till the days are not.
Right.
You know? So that's really the thing.
Because a lot of people will downplay that and just like, oh no, I won't embrace it. Oh, but thank you. They'll be really quiet and humble about it. Like, oh well, I guess I'm kind of good at this, kind of, sort of, almost, maybe.
Totally.
But I love how you just like, no, I'm going to embrace it. This is good. This feels good. And it's like, even when you were younger, like you went through the Whip My Hair success, you cut off all your hair because you were like, yeah,
now it's back.
And so like, going from that, like, how did you find different methods of like coping with like your emotions, tapping into your big feelings and being like, okay, how am I going to process this and get through it?
Yo. I'm still trying to figure that out, but a big part of it for me has been, I literally have acceptance tattooed on my neck because I need that. And I need to embody that more because you can't control anything. The only thing you can control is how you interact with the world. And so I want to be a person that interacts with the world with compassion, not suspicion or like fear. You know what I'm saying? I just be reading a lot of self-help books.
Honestly, that's honest.
I don't know. It's rough out here. I really don't know. Is the real deal, because this earth is crazy, and there's a lot of really important things happening right now that we all need to come together and communicate and vote and do things in our communities and communicate with people that
heavy on communicate.
Yeah, we need to communicate and we need to, I don't know. It's a lot, but I think we're all in a position and we have the opportunity every day to choose to interact with love instead of fear.
Yeah.
You know,
And so, before we get into the live performance portion, you did Tiny Desk earlier this year, which was incredible.
Thank you.
You opened for Childish Gambino on tour, and you also have your own performance coming up with a live orchestra. And so, when it comes to trying to figure out how to perform this album live, especially like whether it goes from like a tour kind of set, like a band, to a live performance with an orchestra, it's like, how do you figure that process out and like go about even curating the set list, and like what does that go through your mind?
Man, I think at first I kind of just have to listen to the album and be like, okay, what makes sense here? Like, does a viola make sense here? Like, does a quartet make sense here? Or is there trumpets? Is it saxophone? Is it, you know, like you have to listen and be like, okay, like what sounds would fit here? And then, you know, that's just what I've been doing, just like listening and be like, okay, like, oh, it would be really cool to have a harp here, but you have to like really digest it and listen to it a lot. I'm working with a really beautiful friend of mine who I trust a lot, because I don't read music. I don't, you know, like the actual notation. So he's going to help me with actually just like writing it all down and figuring out, like, I've never done this before.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I've never done this before. So it's going to be new. And I'm excited.
But you're a student. You're like an ever-evolving student. Ready to,
man,
like
I'm just learning every day.
Right.
I'm just learning every day. And this is just one of those experiences. But, yeah, just listening to the album and trying to get a list of, like, what all instrumentalists, what songs do they need to be on. And then after that's done, then we can get into, like, okay, intros, outros, interludes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But the actual notation of the music, like, I'm really interested to just, like, see how he takes my ideas and, like, puts it into this form.
Like, like a formal structure.
Yeah. It's just super cool.
I love that. And Empathogen Deluxe is coming. You just announced that. Has 3 new tracks on it. What can you tease about the deluxe portion of the album, and how is it different from, like, the standard version right now?
So there's a new collaborator that I worked with on one of the songs, one of the 3 new songs. There's actually 2 new collaborators.
Okay.
But I think I wanna wait to tell you guys who they are.
Fair.
But a really amazing saxophonist.
Okay.
A really amazing saxophonist is gonna be on one of the songs.
Okay. And so, like, is it stay in the theme of the joy and the clarity and the understanding?
Yes,
just
100%.
more of it.
These are songs that I was kind of like, okay, I didn't want the album to be too long. It was kind of a struggle, because at first the album was like really long and I was like, like this doesn't feel right, but all of these songs are amazing. Like I don't want to get rid of them. So these 3 songs were a part of like a group of songs that I kind of had to, I had to let them go for a while, even though I thought they were, I wanted them to be on the original, but it was just too much.
Will we ever hear them?
Oh, they're gonna be on the deluxe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, it wasn't more than 3.
They're gonna be on the deluxe.
I had to make sure it wasn't more than 3.
No, bro. I mean, it is more than. It is more.
Okay, so okay, yeah.
But you're gonna hear it.
Okay.
You're gonna hear it. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good.
Great. I love that. And so you're about to turn 24.
Yep.
And so you've been through such a journey from 13 to 23. What, as you today, would tell your 33-year-old self? What would you manifest for her?
What would I tell her? I feel like she need to tell me something. I would tell her. Stop. But that's just me now. I'm just going to say what I would tell myself now. Stop looking for people's validation, bro.
Yeah.
Stop looking for people's validation. it just ruins your time.
Yeah.
It just ruins the vibe in your own mind. And now you have a sus vibe when you could be having a dope vibe no matter what's happening. You know? So I would hope that my 33-year-old self is not still caring what people think and being like, oh my God. Like I hope, you know what I'm saying? So hopefully tonight my 33-year-old self will come to me in a dream and be like, hey, you asked me to tell you something. This is what it is. So
I love that. And before we get to the audience questions, in this current moment, what are you most excited about?
Man, I'm most excited about seeing my true potential.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's just like a moment, but I think it's a gradual thing, you know?
I love, that's beautiful. Okay, we're going to take a few questions from the audience now.
Yay.
And so 2 questions. Okay, we're going to take 2 questions. So put your hand up if you have a question, and then we'll bring you a mic.
Hey.
I see one right there.
It's not a question, but it's an acknowledgement. So you sharing your art, the minute you picked up that guitar, my wife and I have just been absolutely immersed in you. Thank you for sharing that journey with us and watching it grow. This album absolutely blows us away. We're starstruck. I got friends who are like, this is the most amazing record. It's our favorite album and a lot of people's favorite album for the last several years.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it sure is.
Thank you so much. Honestly, you don't know how much that means to me. I'm glad that it moves people, because if it didn't, they would be like, why am I doing this? This is a Kemper. Yeah. Yeah.
I see with the British flag.
Mm, 100%. I think the most important thing is to listen to things that you might not listen to like on your regular time. Like I go out of my way to be like, oh, this looks like something that I've never seen before. This looks like something new. The more that you, or something old, something really old, the more that you kind of expand your repertoire and like different sounds, and you'll be like, I was just talking to Tyler, the creator, the other day, and he was like, yo, I just have this book of like certain like transitions and things from old songs that I really, really love, and then I'll just go back and listen to just specific parts, and it's literally just like snippets. It's like snippets of a bunch of different songs, and he's like, yo, like these specific things are so inspiring, and it's just like a repertoire of the sounds that you like, you know what I'm saying? And then you're like, this one sound from this Janet Jackson song, and this one sound from this Napalm song. And then you're like, what would it sound like if I used that rhythm with this chord progression? What would it sound like if I, you know what I'm saying? So you start doing a little bit of like harmonic Frankenstein, you know? you find the sounds that you really like. And do you play an instrument? Yeah, 100%. Yes. And you know, if you have anybody in your life who knows like crazy music theory things, like sometimes I just play songs for my music theory friends, and I'm like, why does this sound so good? Why does this transition sound so good? And it's like, oh, because they're going from the major to the secondary dominant. And I'm like, ah! I'm like, of course, the secondary dominant, of course. So it's really, and that's what I'm talking about, these snippets. It's like, it's really certain like musical movements that we like, and we don't know their names, but once we know their names, now it's like we can evoke this spirit that just like makes everything how we like it. Thank you for that.
Your mind is fascinating. This was so great, Willow.
Thank you. Thank you guys so much. Thank you.